Cormier. Have you ever been fired from a job?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I'm notoriously for being a little late.
Uh-huh.
It just happens to me all of my life.
Uh-huh.
You know, and my mom even said, Chris, you never, what's she saying? You never had time has never agreed with you ever in your life. And then so I was working in Palm Springs as a bellman, and I was bodybuilding at the same time. It's 22, and you know my promptness has never been my best asset. So
Yes.
I was coming late almost every day for a few years. And when I come on time, yeah, when I come on time,
they didn't cut you any slack on that.
I was a little intimidating at 22.
No, you go tell him, man.
I'm not saying nothing. So, yeah, but when I come in on time, they got a little surprised when I came on time. So, one time too many. It was just like, Chris, we gotta call you.
We gotta let you go.
Yeah.
Aw.
I was like, so I left in grand fashion forms.
It was probably a good thing for you to move on, huh?
No, I quit. You don't fire me. I quit. No.
How old were you? 22?
22.
Wow.
22 years old.
I was like, I was going to be moving to LA shortly after that anyway, and my next job was Roxbury after that.
Ah, which where I came into the picture.
That's right. That's when I met you.
All right, so that's a good story, and it goes well with today.
Things always happen to me.
Things always happen. We're a little bit late for today's podcast, but we made it work. We're so excited to have you.
And that's the thing. I always make up for it. So
yeah.
Even in my workouts, I'll be like at least 10 or 15 minutes late. But when I get there, I really tear it up. So
yeah.
Got to do it like that.
See, well, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. So I am Laura Cathcart-Robbins. This is the only one in the room, but I am never the only one in this room because, as usual, my boyfriend, producer, and co-host, Scott Slaughter, who I call Hun, is here as well.
Hi, honey.
Hey, honey.
What's up, Hun?
You gotta love that.
He's got his Hun hat.
You gotta be really upset to not smile at that one, right?
Right? Hey, honey, are you sore from last night's workout?
No, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, my God, I can barely walk.
I know, right? Can you imagine how we'd feel if we used those dumbbells we saw Chris using in that documentary?
Oh, my God. I still can't believe those were dumbbells. They look like barbells. They were so huge.
I've never seen in a gym dumbbells that big, to
right?
be honest with you. And the documentary was incredible. I'm still blown away by how much work it takes to be successful in the world that you're from, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, Chris, I'm going to introduce you so we can hear all about that from you, okay?
Thank you.
So, Chris, the real deal Cormier, is an American bodybuilder who competed in over 72 IFFBB competitions. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
International Federation of Bodybuilding.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Competed in over 72 International Federations of Bodybuilding competitions with 12 professional wins and first runner-up for a record 6 times in the prestigious Arnold Classic. Now retired from bodybuilding, Chris works with athletes all over the world, sharing the knowledge and expertise he gained in over 30-plus years in the sport. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
Yes. Well, welcome. And now we're getting to the part where I'm going to ask you to finish or state your only one in the room statement for us.
Well, being I'm the only one in the room, you could be rest assured that no one else in this room has ever took second at the Arnold Classic 6 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I bet you.
Yeah. So,
no doubt.
So play second at the Arnold Classic 6 years in a row, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So you were kind of a heartbreaker then.
Yeah, it's just, once I hit the curtains when I left the stage, I just throw a tantrum right on the floor, right back there. You don't want to. I didn't care what people thought. I knew I worked so hard, and I knew that I felt like I was the best on that stage at least 2 or 3 of those times, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
and in the documentary, like if I didn't know the outcome watching the documentary, I sure would have bet on you, for a variety of reasons.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a subjective sport, and it's not like you can go up and do a slam dunk or get
Right.
the touchdown and be like for sure that I'm the winner.
Yeah,
You know, someone can be holding something against you, or something higher than that could play a part in some kind of way to where like the best person on that stage is not the champion. But
interesting.
but the thing is, it made my legend grow because people saw that it was something. They saw that I was different,
Yeah,
that I competed on a different level. People thought I was like a little crazy or a little, I don't know, whatever they thought, but they thought I was different. I just had a different mindset about how I want to go about things, and my methodical process to making all this happen. And you're talking about a shy kid that needs to throw herself out in the fire just to go and perform. So I do stuff like fly to Vegas every weekend for 4 or 5 weeks in a row when I'm training for a competition, just to get my nerve up to be able to perform like I want to perform. So I go up on the stage at Raw. I train 5 days in Gold's Gym Venice, then take me and my buddies, fly out to Vegas, dance for the weekend on the stage and controlling the crowd and taking off all my clothes on the stage there. And
okay, wait a second. So,
that's what I would do.
yeah, so
Get me
to
down
get
to
over
my
your
tidy
shyness,
whities. Yeah, get
you
me
would
your underwear
go
at the
and
club.
strip in Vegas, basically,
Take
right?
everything off and dance.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
okay. We're going to get to more of that because that's really interesting.
Yeah.
First thing I want to do is shout out to Desiree Kiva Powell for
Des.
Desiree, who's actually sitting outside the studio. But she connected us today, and
Yeah.
she's been one of my best friends for years and years and years and years. I met her at the Roxbury.
Right. Team Roxbury.
Team
in the house.
Roxbury. I was working the VIP room door, and you were upstairs working.
Upstairs,
Yeah.
bouncing people out that didn't want to have a good time with us.
Yes, and this is like in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah.
90,
The Roxbury was
90,
happening.
91, 92 was the place to be. It was
Yes.
it was, at that time, I would think it was the best one around.
Oh, it was. There was no other club. It was a club restaurant, but there was no other
Yeah.
club that compared. It was absolute, and people. It was legendary. People came from all over to be able to wait at the velvet ropes outside.
Yeah, you could start at who you didn't see there.
Right.
Easier than.
Who you did see there because
Yeah.
everybody was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to the Roxbury and Brad Johnson and
Yeah, man. Bo Brad and
what's his name?
everything.
Ely Samaha.
Evie, and then I was the guy that was
Eric?
dating
Oh,
the one that was dating Madonna,
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Italian guy.
Yeah. We'll think of it.
Anyway,
We'll ask Desiree later. All right.
John Enos.
Yes, Johnny.
Johnny
Yes.
knows.
Oh my goodness.
John Enos.
You were born in Palm Springs.
Born and raised Palm Springs, California.
So tell me the first time you thought, I want to be a bodybuilder.
Well, it's funny because I was well connected with my body, and I didn't know why I had these thoughts in my head about my body, or why that I can't wait to watch Incredible Hulk turn into the Hulk.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just couldn't wait to get mad so you can turn into the Hulk.
Right.
Like that was my thing, you know. But I was in the boys' club one day, and I was flexing my hamstring, and like, how many kids just do that? Like,
Right.
not told to.
Yeah.
You don't just flex your hamstring. you know?
Right.
So, and I remember I was teasing some kids, like, oh, look, I got a cramp in my leg. Look. And they're like, oh, my God. It was just me flexing.
Right. You were showing off.
Yeah. Showing them that my connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what. And one time I'm just rolling my stomach.
I saw that stomach roll.
Just
Do you remember that stomach roll?
out of
I do.
the
That's
blue.
kind of one of your signature moves, isn't
Oh,
it?
my
That
goodness.
Nobody,
Yeah.
It looks mechanical. Oh,
It
he's doing
does.
it right now.
Yes.
You can watch the YouTube and see him doing this. It's
pretty
crazy.
rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these things my life got patterned after these things that I was touching on as a young kid. I had no idea why I was doing it though.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in school, high school, I've been training because I was on a lighter side of. I was 120 pounds when I started training.
You were 120 pounds?
120 pounds.
Wow.
And I was young. My brother, I was like smaller because I started school at 2 years old. So I graduated at 16.
You started.
I
What
graduated.
grade did you start at 2 years old?
I don't know, but I have Chris. I have Chris, age 2, when I had the potatoes and making the whole painting on the thing. And
So you think you were like in kindergarten at 2?
at least.
Wow. Okay.
And
That's really early.
I left school. I had a wrestling scholarship at 16 and went straight to college. And,
Yeah.
So my life was just strange like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then I was in high school, and my high school teacher, Kathy Loria,
Mm-hmm.
I remember I walked up to the desk and she just looked at me like, Chris, you ought to try bodybuilding. You have a great body. Like you should look into that. It's a show coming up this weekend. This is 1983 in my high school, and you should check it out. And I said, really? You think so? I was just like, wow. I felt like I was on the skinnier side. And so I ended up going to the show, and got bitten by the bug. And I saw Mike Christian, who was from LA, who was actual Mr. California at the time, 1983. And he was guest posing, and I just saw him on stage. Like, it was like, man, look, he had like bowling balls stuck on his back. And I was like, wow, like, just really impressed with that. And to move to LA eventually and to become friends with all these guys.
Right.
Also,
Those were your heroes.
My heroes.
Tell me what guest posing is.
When you guest pose is when you have a status in the sport and you're like a special attraction for people to come see encourage people to come see the competition and get to meet you, sign autographs, take pictures and stuff like that type of person.
So it's like a special guest star.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of bodybuilding.
Yeah, so I went to the show, but the one thing I forgot is I was shy.
Right.
That's the kicker. Because I was going to compete and I chickened out. I ended up not wanting to do it, and I just went to go watch the next year, and I just didn't do it.
You were shy of your body or just shy of the attention?
In general. Like, I'm a guy that went to class. If we had a story to tell, I waited till the last day to tell. I didn't want to be the last person, but I didn't want to be the first.
You want to kind of blend in the end there.
Like, don't listen to me. Just let me get this over with because I have to type of guy. I never wanted to talk in front of people ever. And I didn't want to even turn pro because I wanted to beat people, but I didn't want to actually get that pro status because then people were going to ask me to speak and ask me to go to do seminars. And that's my Achilles heel, was to talk in front of people.
And yet here you are today with us.
Yeah, but I did it so many times.
Yes.
I still have the shyness feeling, but I just like...
You power through.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe the culture of bodybuilding, like what the relationships are like, what the competitions, like what the levels are, let me just put it a different way. When you're a bodybuilder and you were at the level that you were at, like maybe just probably around 86, 87, like that.
At that time,
yeah.
Well, I was a teenager, and you can compete in the teenage class up until at the end of your 19 years. When you get to the 20s, then you have to be either novice or open class, or try to be, even higher, national level.
When did you move to Los Angeles?
Around 89.
Around 89.
Like yeah, but I was coming here off and on, even as a teenager. Even when I was in high school, I was coming here in 1984, 1985, just to go to Gold's Gym, walk in, buy a T-shirt, a magazine, see who I could see for however many minutes. They would let me stand there, and then I would go walk up to the beach, watch Craig Munson and all those guys, on the beach, pounding all the weights. And then I'd drive back to Palm Springs. Then I get really excited and I train really hard for at least a month, and then I'll come back and do it again. Just keep inspiring myself, just to get in the visual, you know.
So this is the really famous Venice Beach Gold's Gym, right?
Yes.
And you still train there sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah. My energy is not the same in there now, just because like many things happen over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it all started for me, as far as getting like super inspired. But I was from Palm Springs, where there's, you know, there's a couple of pro bodybuilders that even reside there now. Rachel McClish, Bob Bursong, they all live in the desert now. But I had a few people or friends that competed in Palm Springs, but I just wanted more, and I thought I needed to be. And my mother even encouraged me to go ahead and move out and be. If you want to be that, Chris, she said you need to be around those people who do that.
Yeah.
And she was my first sponsor. She believed in me the most. Paid me. She was paying me $2,500 a month just to help me in what I was trying to pursue.
Right. And so that's kind of what I wanted to know. Like, how do you? It takes a lot of money, right, to pursue it. So you have to have sponsors. You have to have people that believe in you, that support it.
Yeah, that's gonna help you go a lot further, because then you gotta pay for hotels, you gotta pay for travel, you gotta pay for your NPC card or your Pro card, IFBB Pro card. That's a yearly fee. But you...
and do the contests, you have to pay to enter those as well? Or no?
Not on the pro level, but you do on the amateur level for
Okay.
sure. And that's where, you know, the promotions come into play, getting sponsorships, and it's a whole...
It's a whole thing.
That whole thing.
So there's that culture of it, which is the business side.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I thought I saw in the documentary was that the culture in the gyms, the preparation, the work, you guys had a team, kind of, right? It was like you and Rico and what was the other
Flex
guy?
Wheeler.
Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
So that you guys kind of worked out together, which was unusual. Is that unusual?
Yeah.
Since you competed against each other?
Yeah. But I was more like friends with Rico, and Flex was friends like with Rico.
Right.
And then so with that being, you know, that's how we became to hang out. I remember I met Flex in 1989, so I had already had a tattoo on my leg that said Flex. That was my first tattoo, said Flex. And then I met a guy named Flex. I'm like, okay, great.
It wasn't him that was
No,
the
just the
inspiration
word.
for the tattoo.
Just
okay.
the word.
All right.
But then I met him after. Like, okay,
I'm sure he enjoyed that.
that's
though.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you had mentioned the levels. Like, so there's a teenage level to where I had aspirations of being the best teenager in the world. I wanted to be, you know, I went from San Diego up to Northern California looking for teenagers to beat, to compete against. And
Yeah.
I even went to Inglewood and competed in the hood over there. You know, just wanted to find teenagers to compete against. So
Were people scared to compete against you?
no, people doubted my abilities a lot. I had a lot of separation. I wasn't a big guy, but I had a frame. I thought a prototypical frame for this, and but yeah, people was like, yeah, he's gonna be good on the teenage level, but not when he get to the men's division. And then I just like zipped through that real quick and got my pro card. And yeah, well, he won't be good as a pro. And then people, I would hear this, and then my first pro show, I ended up taking second place here in town at the Pro Ironman. Then I took fourth in the Arnold Classic, and you know, that's coming from having like hardly any money, no bank account.
Right.
You know, because it's a struggle. You know, it's almost like you don't really do it for the money. You do it for the love and the passion of the journey.
Yeah.
That was my thing. It wasn't like, okay, because if it was money, I would have tried to be a football player. You know, like if that's my first love was football. Wrestling was also a big love of mine.
Right. Right.
And,
yeah.
Yeah. So.
You had a lot of potential as a wrestler, too.
Yeah, I love wrestling. I actually met online Lee Kemp, who was I looked up to him like he was God. And,
You know who that is, huh?
I don't.
Oh.
Actually. I've heard the name, but I'm
Yeah.
not.
Kemp.
Yeah.
Lee Kemp. You heard of Dan Gable?
Yeah.
Dan Gable was like a beast. He beat the Russians. He went through the Olympics 1972, and no one scored a point on him.
Wow.
And this guy, Lee Kemp, who I was studying after in high school and in college, he was a three-time world champion. And he went up against, he actually had a match with Dan Gable and beat him. And then that's when Carter was in office and they was going to go to the Olympics. And he was at his peak of his career. He actually has a documentary called Wrestled Away.
Okay.
And our lives are so similar. Oh my God.
Wow.
And I had to contact him. I couldn't even sleep after I saw his documentary. And his is on, I believe, HBO On Demand or whatever.
Okay.
Wrestled Away. But yeah, it just touched me. And I just had to reach out to the guy and I just kind of explained my life and he told me his. But I knew just from the documentary, so oh man. So that was really emotional situation, but it just all ties in. And then the funny thing is he knew a lot about bodybuilding. He knew about, training Sergio Oliva Jr., which is his dad won the Olympia
Right.
3 times.
And that
He
right now
beat
you're
Arnold.
training him.
Yeah, I'm training him. He beat Arnold and all that stuff. And this guy knew Arthur Jones, who was the founder of Nautilus Equipment, who, my whole life is revolving around my training. And this guy, Arthur Jones, was the start of it all.
Yeah.
And he has a photo with Arthur Jones. He sent me the photo. I was just like freaking out. So hopefully I get a chance to meet him pretty soon.
Yeah. I bet you will.
I hope so.
So the thing I got from the documentary and from the interviews was that you were the guy to beat because you had like perfect symmetry, you had the best posing. And I know you said it's subjective, but it seemed like everybody aspired to beat you. But like I guess Flex was saying that his opinion was that you were your own worst enemy. Do you agree with that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
people didn't take me serious as someone they need to try to beat, but they saw my potential to
Okay,
what I could
yeah.
do. But I wasn't always my own worst enemy either.
Right.
That was a
period of time.
period of time.
Yeah.
So, I was, I came from Palm Springs, and I feel like if my brother was competing also, if he had been around me and closer, I think I would have never probably ventured off into as far as I went. I was almost like a rock and roller type of guy.
Yeah.
Because even at Roxbury, I was doing security for. I did security one time. I don't know if you remember. You probably seen Rick James come in there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like watching him, and
Right.
I was like, I know all about Rick James. I've been posed to Fire and Desire, my first Mr. Olympia, and I used to also bodyguard for Milli Vanilli, Rob Vanilli, the one that killed himself.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was his personal bodyguard. So we were going up to the Belushi suite next door.
Yep. At the Chateau Marmont.
Yeah, we go in there, and I'm leaving there, and then.
And they were partying.
Yeah.
Partying
so you
hard.
see a lump of coke in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
Size of I don't know what, but I just leave them to that, and I go home and whatever. But it, I mean.
That lifestyle inspired you?
No, I just saw it. I saw it. I'm like, okay.
Because Rick James could party.
Yeah.
He was tinfoil on the windows partying.
But it's a hormonal thing too. It's a hormonal.
What do you
thing.
mean?
It's a sexual thing. It's like I mean, when you're on all these hormones, you run around the world and people are waiting for you to come there, and like you're full of hormones. You got this body of God, and it just comes along with all of that.
Okay.
And so, how do you stop doing that when it's like, okay, because that comes on with different people in your life, but that's not the same goals as a person trying to be Mr. Olympia.
Right.
They don't have the
That's
same
in conflict
goals.
then.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the thing. You surround yourself with people who have the same goals in life. That's where you're going to keep going up and reaching them. But it always mixes up with most athletes, most singers, most actresses and actors. They get around people who don't have those type of goals, but they have other stuff they're going to integrate, insert into your life.
And these the hormones you're talking about, are these like the natural hormones that come as doing that, or synthetic hormones?
Synthetic.
Synthetic hormones.
Yeah,
Can you tell me about that?
Well, you have to learn a lot of stuff. Like the Biblers are pretty intelligent people and how to manipulate their body, manipulate their hormones, take this type of stuff called testosterone, derivatives of testosterone, there's anabolics, energetics, some of which you need to use at certain times to obtain a certain look. And I'm sure that goes up into Hollywood also. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, sorry, hold for 1 second.
Someone walking?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You can hear a lot with these things, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening, I was like,
If we can hear it on the headphones, it's loud.
dripping in someone's
Yeah.
luck.
Is it good? Are we good? Are they gone?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead. Just you were telling me about the hormones.
Yeah, so when you go to do a competition, a lot of people are on the higher energetics. But I was never a guy that's like
What is a higher energetic?
higher milligram wise,
Oh, okay.
higher intake of
Of the same hormones, but just a higher
It's
dose?
totally different ones. There's some for different reasons. Like you take this for mass and size. You make your whole a little bit of water, but that's okay at this point in time of the process.
Does that include steroids?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll be 20 weeks out. You're gonna go to a show here. You'll have a more of a from 20 weeks till like 10 weeks to 9, 8 weeks. You'll have a higher water retentional
Mm-hmm.
steroid that you'll be taking.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you'll find the ones that you want to add with that. Maybe it's Anadrol 50, or it's Anavar, something to be like for strength, something to be for more cuts and all that stuff. But from 8 weeks to the showtime, then most of the things are going to be switched out to things that's going to make you hold less water.
And so then there's
so many
diet
different-
and all that stuff that goes
Diet,
along with it.
and the posing and the training and,
Yeah.
and what type of foods are you benefiting from? What type of foods you don't benefit from? So all these things you need to find out through the experience.
And do you
through
do that
years.
yourself, or does someone help you with that?
I had different coaches throughout the years, but also just people that I worked with, trained with, or read up on. Because I started getting to the point I'm like, why am I reading this book to tell me how Chris Cormier can benefit from this when it's not a book on Chris Cormier?
Mm-hmm.
So I started saying, okay, I got to look in the mirror and just find what works best for me from experiencing it myself.
Right, right.
But I was never a person that wanted to take a whole lot of steroids to try to get my goal. I was more like I want to figure out the exercise that it takes to obtain this look.
Okay.
Or I want to, I was just all in on it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even if I didn't go to sleep till, and since working at Roxbury, I was never able to sleep at night. Do you sleep at night?
Well, my shift ended at 11.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you were on all night, right?
Yeah, I was the grunt.
Yeah.
So me and Rico would leave work
Uh-huh.
at 2 to 3 to whatever. Not 2, but at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then we go play video games sometime
Mm.
right after work. So we're very competitive. So we
Right.
might be in the 7-Eleven.
Because you guys were like
we might be in
amped.
the arcade.
You were up. Yeah.
And we'll go to eat or something like that. And then sometimes we'll be tired and we're like, man, if we go to sleep now, we're not going to be able to work out tomorrow.
So you just go right into a workout?
Go right to the gym.
Wow.
And we're like falling asleep in between sets.
Crazy.
let's just get this done, right? So in between
Because you had
sets,
to work out.
Yeah, we had to work out.
You had it was a daily requirement.
This was our goal. This was our goal. We set, and we wanted to become professionals. And we wanted to be some of the best in the world at
Yeah.
something. So
Wow. So let me just back to the steroids just really quickly. Are steroids okay in bodybuilding? Are they acceptable? Is it legal, as it were, or ethical?
I don't think anything's legal about that.
Okay.
You can get a doctor that can prescribe you by taking your blood test and seeing what you actually need for your system, or your testosterone levels are low,
Yeah.
or your estrogens are high, or something like that. And then they can prescribe you different things like that. But there's so many different wide range of different things you can do, or people look into doing. There's something called SARMs now that I never took. That a lot of people take that is actually not okay for human consumption at this time, not by the FDA.
Right.
So,
But people are taking it for quick results?
well, results that's not an actual steroid.
Okay.
But I don't really know about that stuff. I just know I know it's there, but I never
Yeah.
looked into stuff like that because that came after I was finished, and I'm not someone
Right,
just like
right.
doing this thing,
Well, I kind of know about that because I'm sober. I'm 11 years sober, and there are so many things that
good
have
for
come
you.
on the market. Thank you. But like, edibles.
Yeah.
Come about. I've never tried an edible because
Really?
they weren't around when I got sober.
That's right.
So
You're
anyway,
sticking
so
true to the game,
yes,
huh?
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah, both of us.
No
Yeah.
wonder you look so much
Both of
younger
us
than
actually.
that.
Are
That's
a
awesome,
little
man.
so, yeah, I think.
That's awesome, man.
Um, So I wanted to just
I'm no
talk.
quitter, so I'm not gonna do.
That was
That,
that was
That
my
was your-
motto
that
for
was
20.
your-
Mine was nobody likes a quitter.
yeah, exactly. Mama didn't raise no quitter.
And all the way. all the way
do the
down.
damn thing, real deal style.
Yeah, I've been the real deal.
So I want to fast forward a little bit. You were in Amsterdam, and shortly after that, you got sick. Is that correct?
Hmm.
And you think like maybe it was dirty needles or something in Amsterdam? Is that what you said?
Just not really dirty needles, but I wasn't cleaning the area in which I was going to inject
Right.
before or after a while, because it was like I was just in a house full of products,
Yeah.
all type of products, not even bodybuilding products, but there's a
Right.
lot of products.
Uh huh.
That's all I could tell you.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was just wall to wall, stacked up everywhere around me. And I was in there for like 4 months,
Wow.
looking at stuff like, okay, I'll just like try this.
Yeah.
and
Well, it's
try that.
Amsterdam, so we can imagine
Yeah,
what the products were.
exactly.
Yes.
All of that.
Yeah.
And I had my own car and my own, I stayed in the apartment. So I'd venture into the city, I was grocery shopping and I was like living as a person from Holland.
Yeah.
I was,
You were Dutch.
I was Dutch.
Yeah.
I was Dutch.
And so then you come back to the States and you're not feeling well.
Yeah, I was doing an appearance. I was at Muscle Tech at the time, and they had us doing appearances in the city.
Is this in back east, right?
No,
And it was
in-
here.
in
Okay.
LA.
Okay.
I was staying in Culver City at the time. We was running around, and I started sweating like really bad, and I was like, man, I don't feel good. And I just called a doctor friend of mine who called in a antibiotic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Antibiotic, but it was the wrong one.
Ah.
So it calmed down the situation to where I wasn't sweating. I still felt like in my shoulder. I felt.
Did you know that it was an injection site? That was.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You knew, and you knew it was infected.
Yeah, because it was like a little bump on my shoulder, and
Right.
it was like sore, and it was red.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh man. So if I just would have went to the hospital and just got it taken care of, that would have changed my life
Right.
to this day.
Yeah.
That would have changed everything, and I probably would have been Mr. Olympia, and I probably would have been all those things. That was 200 and. By the time it came back around 2 months later, when I was training for the Mr. Olympia, I was on the East Coast in New Jersey, and I was about to fly over to train with a former Mr. Olympia, Dwayne Yates, a good buddy of mine, good
He's
friend
British.
of mine. Yeah, British guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna go stay there for like 3 months and train, and just like in the hardest way possible,
Mm-hmm.
and then just shock everybody.
Well, and just I'm going to pause you just for a second because up until this point, you've been competing and competing, in these contests that are like, it's the Arnold Classic, Mr. Olympia. There's another one. It changed names. I forgot what it's called.
Night of Champions, or
Maybe that one.
I was winning. I was averaging at least 3 wins a year.
Yeah.
I was winning the Ironman
Yes.
here in town.
Yes. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, maybe maybe at least 3 or 4 Mr. Olympias winners placed behind me at the Pro Ironman.
Yeah.
So, and I was like a get out of bed and go go on the stage down the street and just win. The way I won there was like the lights really did a lot for my physique.
Yeah, they
It
accentuated
really-
the right things. Yeah.
And I had all the attributes that was just, it was killing everybody
Mm-hmm.
that stage. I don't know why I didn't even do it more. They did stop doing the show, but I felt like I was unbeatable there.
Right.
Unbeatable. And then I did other shows in Australia. I won that 3 years in a row. The Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I also went to Austria. I won there.
Mm-hmm.
And Dexter Jackson placed behind me there.
Yeah.
He has a Mr. Olympia title.
Yes, he does.
I beat Jay Cutler there at the Ironman, and he has 4 Mr. Olympia titles, and I have beaten Ronnie Coleman, who has 8 Mr. Olympia
Right.
titles. He was
And these
getting
are
beat
all-
a lot.
I was going to say these are all people who were perplexed that you didn't win
Right,
because they
exactly.
admitted that they placed behind you.
Yeah.
So all this was going on while you were competing. Then you're in Amsterdam and you get this infection. You come back to Los Angeles.
Well, I got it actually was in my system from Amsterdam. So
Oh.
I didn't do any other injections. I didn't
Yeah.
do any other thing like that. I was just coming off of everything to clean up my body,
Mm-hmm.
and then that popped up. But
Right.
then, like I said, I calmed it down a little bit. So when I was training for the Mr. Olympia, that's when it just
flared up.
Yeah, flared up in my lower back.
Right. And you thought that your back was sore, right? And
yeah,
you didn't get sore?
Because I had back issues.
Yeah.
From when I was young, I was doing squatting like 315, and I turned to talk to this girl.
Yeah. That's right. I saw that story too.
And I hurt my back.
You have a
and I
little
was-
weakness for women.
Yeah. Those creatures.
Those creatures.
Yeah.
Those magnificent creatures. So
yeah.
so your back is sore and then your legs get sore too, right?
Well, you have that sciatic nerve that
Yeah.
goes through your glute, and it goes down to my pinky toe, which acted up sometimes. So
Interesting.
yeah. So I had that issue, which kind of plagues your career because you got to do a lot of bent over stuff, and some things I couldn't do. Some exercise I just couldn't do because it was going to be, not good for my lower back.
Right.
So I just thought it was just another day like that. And so I was doing this exercise, pushing it up, hurt my back. And then I went to call my buddy the next day, and I'm like, man, I'm feeling really, really bad in my lower back. I was thinking I have to ice it, maybe I have to train later. And each hour on an hour, it got worse and worse and worse and worse.
So you were going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found myself laying on the ground, and I had to use the bathroom. And my buddy, Bo, he was working at his store there in Hackettstown, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
So you're in New Jersey at this point. Yeah.
So I'm like, Bo, you got to come help me get to the bathroom. I can't move.
And how much did you weigh at this point?
295.
Wow.
I was almost 300 pounds. I had abs. I was in good shape.
And you were all muscle.
all muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I called him like 30 minutes later. I'm like, Bo, I gotta use the bathroom and I can't move. You gotta come now. He's like, oh, sorry. I thought I could just, he was gonna close up his shop, and he was the only one working.
Right.
Came over there, and this guy, we get there, and he can't pick me up. I'm dead weight.
You can't help yourself at all.
I can't help myself at all. I can't move because think about all your nervous system is affected by an infection now. So all your extremities, everything's affected.
Okay, can I just ask you a question? Why did you call your friend instead of calling an ambulance?
I didn't want to call an ambulance.
Because?
That was the last resort.
But why?
I'm just not that type of guy. You wanted,
Was it like
Think about this.
an
I even-
admission of weakness or something if you called an ambulance?
I didn't want to do it.
You didn't want to do it.
No, so
It was
then
just, yeah.
I didn't do it until I had no other choice.
Okay.
And so, plus I come from a place, you don't just do that. You handle things yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't want the police to come, and I didn't want the whole fiasco of fire trucks, the ambulance, the police.
You didn't want people up in your house.
Yeah, all up in my business.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so anyway, so then it got to the point, I was just like, Bo, call it. Call it.
Because he
now-
couldn't lift you.
couldn't lift me,
Yeah.
and it was no other choice. I couldn't move myself, and he couldn't do it. I had no choice, and I started hallucinating
That's not good.
from the pain.
Yeah.
I started seeing people and talking to people who wasn't even there. That wasn't good, because I was like, you know, it was like I thought I saw someone behind the chair talking to me. There was like, there's no one there. I was like, yes, they are.
You were really sick.
Really bad.
Yeah.
And I was turning green now because
Oh, you became the Hulk.
I was
Finally.
finally about time.
Oh.
Yeah, so
She's
it
the
came-
best, isn't she? She brought it back around for you.
So we went to this one hospital that wasn't able to actually help me. So just to move me was so painful. I'd rather do anything but just don't move me. you know?
Yeah.
So we went to another hospital, and I'm on full of drugs. And
Yeah. They had to pump you with a lot of morphine, right?
Yeah, and they don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I just thought it hurt my back severely. That I didn't know I was slowly dying from a staph infection that
Which is what it was.
could definitely kill you.
Yeah.
And they had to put me in an induced coma. With that, and so just think what I came from, all the party days, all the things, all the women.
Right.
I'm grabbing all the nurses everywhere.
You were flirting?
They turn around and grabbing their butts as they leave.
In a coma, you were doing it?
That's some
The whole
determination,
time, I was-
right?
Sounds like my dad.
Okay. That was like your dad. So, but wait, they put you in an induced coma. How long were you in that?
Over a month.
Over a
Yeah,
month.
that's
Yeah,
remarkable.
that's
So
remarkable.
I was
So you were unconscious for over a month.
unconscious. And
Wait,
I missed UFC. I missed everything that happened. And I actually looked on the wall, and I was like, man. And my thing was like, don't ever stay in a hospital overnight. I look on the wall, like I've been here 3 days. Like, I've been here 3 days?
Right. You were upset about that.
Yeah, and I was pissed. I'm like, everyone's looking at me like,
Dude.
no one saying anything. Like,
Yeah.
they were like, Chris, you've been here over a month. I freaked out.
Yeah.
Over a month?
Yeah.
Over a month? Get me out of here. Get me out of here. And I pulled a Tupac. And I was like,
you just like
I
pull the
just-
tubes.
I'm getting out of here. I'm
and-
leaving.
So wait, had you lost mass at that point, or weight, or
Yes. When I opened my eyes, I was 60 pounds lighter.
wow, 60
And-
pounds in a month,
Yeah.
huh?
And my legs were just like 32 inches, and they were probably down to 27, 26.
So were you scared about that? Did that horrify you?
Corey, it was the worst days of my life. Think about going 100 miles an hour around the world, invincible type of guy. You're almost 300 pounds at 5'11", small waist, and you killing the game. You're doing whatever you want to do. You can, I'll just go to Europe today. I'll just go to,
Right.
I'll go to Amsterdam tomorrow. Let's go to Australia from here. Just like living like that. And to be just confined to a bed and like, and I'm still thinking I'm doing Olympia at this time.
Right.
I have no idea. I'm like, can't walk and can't none of this. So I'm like, I'm in a back brace when I woke up, and I'm like, it's like, it was like they broke it to me like, Chris, you can't walk right now.
But you weren't paralyzed, but you just didn't have the muscle.
I
You
was
weren't. You were paralyzed.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't.
I didn't know that.
I couldn't move anything, and I couldn't walk. They grabbed me to get a walker, and then they start trying to get me out of bed. But I got myself, they were telling me, like, Trish, just stay here and, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
You left against medical advice.
I left against medical advice. I
Yeah.
just flipped off the whole system. Had my boys bring me some weed in there. I'm smoking weed in the hospital. Who can smoke weed in the hospital? Can you just tell me?
Scotty's
their
shaking his
right
head.
mind?
It happens all the time, actually, Chris. Now you can just get edibles. You don't even have to get all that
Right.
trouble.
I was trying to,
But you were trying to, like, medicate yourself?
Yeah, medicate
Like,
this month
yeah.
as I always was doing.
Right.
I was taking injectable painkillers called Nubane at the time.
Nubane, that's what it was.
and
I was
I
trying to
had-
remember what that was
And I
called.
had that. I actually fell asleep with the Nubane on my resting on my stomach with the needle, and the nurse found that, and she
And
called
that's an opiate.
security.
Like,
Yeah, she
Like-
called security.
Ooh.
So I'm just like, I can't move, and I'm like, I'll kill you to death. Take my drugs. Send you on intervention time to help me, So I was like, yeah. So then they start watching me all the time. I actually went to a hotel. And,
For a few days, right?
Yeah, for like 5 days. And
Yeah.
I had people. That's when MySpace was out. So people I met from MySpace that came to see me and stuff.
Strangers.
Yeah, strangers. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, people from the sport that I didn't actually know. They were
Yeah.
helping me, and they helped me get through all this stuff.
Wow.
And I haven't used the bathroom for over a month and something because of all of the pain medication.
Wow.
And so I was totally stopped up, and I couldn't go. And,
Did you go in the hotel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But I couldn't wipe myself, so that was an issue.
Oh,
I couldn't move my body around to do anything like
that's
that.
an issue.
So I had one of my friends, who's my friend today. He had to wipe me. And I
Oh,
was
that's
so-
a good friend.
Yeah, and that was humiliating to say the least.
Mm.
And I couldn't squat down, so I'm like just kind of in the splits over a trash can.
Did you go back to the hospital after that?
I had to.
Yeah.
But you know what though? The doctor came to the hotel.
Oh.
And he saw me a couple times in the hotel, which was nice. Which I don't think is really
That's not
Normal.
normal. No.
really
Well, not much of your life has been normal, though.
Okay.
normal is
Yeah.
not. Normal is not the word.
As an average to the population,
Right.
rather. Yeah.
Right.
It
It seemed normal to me.
So I want to just, because we're getting close to the end, but I wanted to just make sure to talk about, it was after this, you had either, was it a bike accident where you tore your tricep?
Yeah, so I'm healing up from this. I'm spending time with my son. I'm in.
And how old's your son at this point?
At this point, he must have been around 11ish, 10ish,
Okay.
11ish.
So you're hanging out with him.
Yeah, and I used to race bicycle motocross back in the day. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back. I could do, but it wasn't my bike, and I wasn't used to the bike. So I went and hit a tabletop jump, went over that, and then I had a split second to think because I hit the seat and my front end was end over end, and I had a split second. Am I gonna just crack my shoulder, or I'm gonna try to take it on the elbow and try to roll out of it?
Wow.
Nothing rolled.
What
I
a
just went
choice.
straight down. But I had a split second
Yeah.
to think. So I went down on my elbow. My elbow tore the tricep tendon away from the elbow, and I'm doing my big comeback from being in the hospital. So, and I was just like hell bent on getting back on stage. So each day was just like trying to get back to where I was. I need to save my career, save my life.
Yeah.
So that tore my tricep, and so I just came back with a torn tricep, and also almost died. So I don't even have all the muscle mass packed on. I lost all my muscle mass from all over the years.
Right.
So trying to get back on stage with all of that was just so hard.
Mm.
And then they were judging me as if nothing ever happened to me.
Right.
Of course, I almost died like last month. Like,
Yeah.
can you give me a break of how I look right now? And
Well, I mean, it was pretty superhuman that you came back, because that's also, and not to spoil it, but you can see that in the documentary when you come back. You're rooting for you as the audience. Like, you
Yeah.
cannot believe that you're on stage. I
Right.
can't believe that you healed that
I didn't
fast.
want to get beat. It took me a long time because my just to walk up and just to walk around was to get each step was like get further.
Yeah.
So even to walk to there, like even on the video, that was my first steps I ever took. Is the one you saw in the video with the
Really?
walker. That was the first steps.
Oh, that was really the first
Yeah.
step, not just for the camera.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
really
Wow.
really.
Man. Okay, so you retired.
I retired I didn't actually retire because I never
Okay.
really quit.
Okay. right? Because
But
you
I
don't quit.
stopped.
'Cause you
Yes,
never stop.
you stopped.
Yeah.
You stopped competing,
I stopped
and then you turned to training people.
training people. And then when I started doing that, a lot of trainers that have been training people for a long time treated me different because they knew my pedigree, they knew they knew the things that I've been very far in the sport.
They have respect for you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just be able to share my career, my knowledge of what I went through, my experience, all that stuff with the next generation means a lot to me.
Yeah,
And they know I care about what I'm doing. I'm very passionate about what I do. So
yeah.
I've been helping people obtain the best looks of their life, and that's my goal right now is to just continue to do what I do, and it's I just love it.
There's this other moment at the end of the documentary where Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the audience, and it's his classic, right? And he's complimenting someone who did he just win?
Yeah, he just won the
He
show.
just won
but
the person. What's his name? Who had just won?
Rolly Winklet.
Okay,
So
and
I was helping him when I was in Kuwait because I was part of the Kuwait team out of Oxygen Gym with Beta Budai. And there's a few guys that was in those camps out there that actually the Mr. Olympia now, I wasn't his trainer, but I helped coach him in different aspects of him getting better, and he actually won the biggest title in the world now.
wow, wow.
Brandon Curry. And he, just
But Arnold asked
to get
him,
Arnold to
yeah,
say that you're a trainer of champions,
trainer of champions, stand up.
Yeah, that was
he
a
has
moment.
to stand up.
That was a moment, and we were just.
We got teary, Scotty and I.
And
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, Arnold.
Well, it was
that
a
was
really
my
great
moment.
moment. It felt like it felt so deserved. It felt like that recognition that you had worked so hard for, and the fact that you were able to give it to somebody else, and then they were able to reflect it back at you. Like, no, this is the posing. All of this I learned from Chris. Like
Right.
that was just really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really cool to see.
Nice to know, and Arnold never even made a gesture or anything as to. This guy took second in my show 6 years in a row. Nothing like,
Right.
hey, let's give him a round of applause. He
Yeah.
didn't give up.
Nothing pity.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He
It was just like he gave you your props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to hear that was just an amazing feeling.
It was great.
Yeah.
So now we're going to just do the segment that I talked about. That's the fan letter. It's Dear Laura. I'm going to read it to you. Dear Laura, I was in a terrible car accident in 2016 and had to relearn everything, walking and talking. I was in a terrible depression for a while, and I saw your post on non-negotiables, your workouts, your meditations, meal prep, etc. I'd like to do more of that type of thing, but I can't seem to find the motivation or discipline. Do you have any tips for motivation?
I find motivation in so many different avenues, not even just bodybuilding. It could be, like you say, like Lee Camp, this wrestler, or like a big motivator for me in the untimely death of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
His work ethic
Yes.
was on display for everyone.
For everyone, yeah.
And I actually saw it firsthand at Gold's Gym Venice because I'd see him in the morning at 9 o'clock
Yeah.
training. Excuse me. And you'd see him going to court that day. Then you see him
Yeah.
hitting three-pointers over someone
Is
with
this
the
like
time
2009,
running out.
2010?
Yeah, the time
when he was
running
flying
out.
to Colorado?
Then you see him in
Yeah.
the gym again at 9 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. But the thing that struck me the most is that even when they won the back-to-back titles, the Lakers, I was in the gym the next morning. Kobe Bryant was there
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock in the morning training with weights. Like,
Right, you just won.
I would still be in the club right now. Like, how are
Right.
you in the gym training after you won the second title? It's like, you guys are the champs.
Yeah.
But he was just relentless on what he wanted.
Right.
And just like, anything that you want, you just want it bad enough, has nothing to do with any money, anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just write off the fumes of the passion of what you're trying to obtain.
Yeah.
And you can get it from a movie. You can get it from, Creed is an awesome movie.
Creed is an awesome movie.
Stuff
I
like
love
that,
Creed. Yeah.
Just anything, but just like you just got to get tired of looking at the same thing, day after day, looking in the mirror, or maybe don't even look in the mirror. But it's just you got to get to a point where like you got to make it up in your mind and find the little steps. If someone can help coach you or help whatever
Yeah.
In the gym or whatever, just find anything. It could be a book on meditation.
Yeah,
It could
I
be a
think
book.
you're right, though. I think a person, like people have workout buddies,
Hmm.
or like they meet people for hikes and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think that's probably, I mean, I don't have that.
it can be anything.
Well, I have you, Hun. You're kind of my
Yeah,
workout buddy.
Hun's
kind of a
Hun's the
hermit.
motivator.
But my main motivation is money because I pay to go to the gym. I don't like to waste money.
Right.
So I pay that money in advance. Yes, yes, it's
Now
my
you're
son. So yeah, I like all of that. And Kobe's agent, in one of his many statements about him, said that he was obsessed with excellence in the best of ways, so that he would continually pursue excellence.
But also the thing is, for him to be who he were, he always found the time for the fans or people around him.
Yeah,
Like he
and the
signed-
family.
Yeah, he signed a autograph for my son
Oh,
when he was number 8. He had no
Yeah.
problem. Like he talked to the people that was around in the gym. I knew his trainer, so his trainer was like friendly with me all the time. And from time to time, it just I wouldn't like bother him, but he would speak little conversations with people with no problem. And I
Yeah.
found some people who thought they were too good to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
For him to be who he was and to watch every little thing he did from a teenager on up to this past week, and
yeah, I know. It is incredibly motivating.
I was actually in the Lux when I woke up to all of this,
Oh, really?
and I was right across the way from the Staples Center.
Yeah. Wow.
So just
Yeah,
oh, man.
I know. It's it's something I can't even really talk
And I
about yet.
can't- Yeah,
You know?
and I can't find. I mean, I found myself crying like off and on since that happened. And
Yeah.
it's so. I couldn't believe how powerful.
Powerful.
I couldn't believe it.
Mm-mm. No, Scotty and I like fell into each other's arms while we were watching and
Yeah,
just kind of comforted each other. But
and to see that crash happen, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
it's just too much.
So moving on, your documentary "I'm the Real Deal" is available on Amazon Prime
And Vimeo,
and Vimeo.
video, and I Am the Real Deal. You can see a lot of. It's not even everything because we have to condense it down to just under 2 hours, but it's a lot. It tells a tale and it shows.
It does.
The triumph, the sadness, the heights, the.
You don't hide from anything in there. You're really open about everything.
Really try to be transparent because
Yeah.
I think that's what people want to see is not you trying to what you think
No.
what's okay in society or whatever like
Yeah,
that.
they don't want to see the edited.
Yeah.
They want to see the unedited.
And
you
I
really
wanted
did
I
that.
wanted to show more, and they was like holding me back. I had some other photos.
Oh, you should have
would have
done
been good.
like a little
I know.
B-roll something.
I told them I need
behind the
to run
scenes.
that back.
There you go. They might play that on Amazon Australia.
Yeah,
Um.
and then also on the back on the video, the Blu-ray, it
Yeah.
says contains sexual this and
Oh, there's a
come to
warning.
that- yeah, warnings. I'm like, yes, I got a warning.
I got a warning. That's great. The Chris Cormier Classic.
Yes,
Tell me about that.
that's gonna be in Milwaukee at
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's hard to do a show because a lot of promoters they don't like to give up their territories, but I fell into this because I got some friends of mine. Kevin Tomasini and he and his wife Stacy, they had a show, and if they were able to help me just slide into the back door, 'cause
Yeah.
they wouldn't get rid of the show. I said, no, don't get rid of it. Let's make it the Chris Cormier Classic.
Nice.
So I'm going to go out there and do a free clinic, free camp.
When is this?
The May 30th is that, but the free clinic's going to be April 26th or 27th.
Of 2020.
Yes, 2020.
great,
Yeah,
great.
so I'm going to do that, for the competitors and for people who just want to come and learn, do some gym stuff, gym tips and posing and stuff like that, and do it all free for the people.
Yeah.
And then the competitors are actually registering now, have bikini, bodybuilding, fitness, wellness, which is the new class for the thicker ladies that want to compete. And bodybuilding, of course, physique, all these different categories that they have available now. When I was coming up, it was only bodybuilding men and bodybuilding women.
Yeah.
Now they brought in fitness, they brought in figure, they brought in bikini,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Just and all the different companies that became about from all these different categories.
Mm-hmm.
This is a multi-million, billion-dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and The Rock is all involved. He's gonna have a show.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
Atlanta, of course.
Yeah.
And so, but mine this year. So we're just starting to really promote it now, and
Great.
promoting the people who are competing in it,
Well,
and highlighting them, and
We'll make sure to promote it as well. We'll put
Yeah.
it in the show notes and
Awesome.
put a link and whatever you have there,
Yeah.
so people can just click right on that.
for sure.
Where can people find you on social media?
At _ Chris Cormier or Cormier.
That's what I say.
Cormier.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you're struggling with
Cormier
that.
is-
You're struggling with it too.
No, because Cormier, I mean, I know that's the proper way to say it, but there's just so many people. There's way more people saying it the wrong way than the right way. So I just go along
You
with
go
it.
with
I
it.
see.
But I'd rather Cormier myself.
Ah,
But
It's elevated.
yeah,
Elevated.
and so so we've
_ Chris Cormier.
under Chris Cormier. I have Chris Cormier Classic, which is my Instagram for just my competition,
Mm-hmm.
and also have Chris Cormier Movie,
Oh,
which is for the documentary, and you'll see little clips of it on there, and people talking back and forth about what they thought of it, and also have C3 TV, which is my YouTube channel.
so you have 4,
Yeah, C3 TV.
and they're all you.
C3 is like Chris Cormier Classic,
Yeah.
but it's just the 3 C's together. It's
Okay.
C3 TV.
Are you on Twitter or Facebook or anything
I'm on
else?
Twitter, but I don't do it.
You don't
I
really do
like
it?
that much. I used to have a pretty good little following on there, but I stopped. I can't.
It's a lot, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
can't.
Yeah.
I
It's hard to keep
I
up.
like Instagram because I do, and also if you want to email me, it's therealdealcormier@gmail.com.
Okay. You respond to emails?
Yeah,
All right.
you better stuff.
You got a few from
I
her.
get.
I'm just checking it out.
See it if it works.
See it if it works. Chris, I cannot thank you enough for driving up from San Diego today
Goodness.
to be with
Right.
us. And you and I, we've been on the phone, we've
Yeah.
been texting, we've been emailing. You
Yeah.
kept your word. I so appreciate
Told you
you.
gonna come. Told
Yes,
you
you
gonna
did. Yes, you did. Thank you, my brother.
Come. And
I
it's great
appreciate
to
it.
see a familiar face from back in the day.
Yes.
When I was
Team
just,
Roxbury.
Yeah, Team Roxbury. When I was just a little tyke trying to come up and make it.
That's right.
A little tight.
A little tyke.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.